Hello, and welcome to this roundup of spoilers and plot twists of the books that I read this month. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. So, this is my monthly series talking about just the spoilers and plot twists of the books that I've read. I'm not going to cover every single book that I read this month because some of them are pretty predictable. Usually, all my other videos are spoiler free and just give an overview of the plot and my overall impression, but this video will go straight for the conclusions, which you may or may not have seen coming. To Love a Scandalous Duke by Liana de la Rosa is book one of the Once Upon a Scandal series. Now, in this one, the lady and the Duke are childhood friends until the Duke's father was embroiled in some sort of financial scandal. The Duke thinks that the lady's father is actually the one responsible and sets out to find proof. While we do find the proof that the lady's father, aka the Earl, was responsible for the financial scandal, we also find out even more tragic backstory from the lady's mother's diaries. Turns out the Earl was in love with his wife's sister, got her pregnant, and then the lady and her twin brother are actually illegitimate. Too Wicked to Tame by Sophie Jordan is book two of the Daring series. Meddlesome grandmothers set up a daughter of a duke with an earl by sending her off into the country. He's attracted to her, but basically refuses to marry anyone and pass on the family madness. While it's true that the earl's father was mad, it wasn't from anything hereditary. The man had syphilis and passed it to his wife and his baby, causing their demise. And of course, the earl's grandmother covered it up by saying it was a family disease, since that was more tasteful than a sexually transmitted infection. A Rogue's Rules for Seduction by Eva Lee is book three of the Last Chance Scoundrel series. Now, in this one, a man leaves his bride at the altar at the beginning of book one of the series due to some big dark secret that makes him unworthy of marriage to her. The big secret is that he accidentally may or may not have killed a man in a bar fight many years ago. Actually, I was surprised here because I was expecting there to be an element of blackmail, and I was actually shocked that there wasn't any blackmail. The man just felt horribly guilty. How to Train Your Baron by Diana Lloyd is book one of the What Happens in the Ballroom series. The Baron of the title has had some mysterious deaths in his family recently and is under suspicion of murder even when he didn't do it. Now that he's getting threatening notes, he wants to find out the truth of who's behind it. Turns out the cook at his house or estate has brought in a bunch of Scots who hold a grudge against the Baron's family and conspire to harm his parents, his son, and his new wife. Loving the Marquess by Susanna Medeiros is book one of the Landing Lord series. We have another sort of family illness situation here. Our Marquess needs an heir to keep his slimy cousin from inheriting, but he doesn't want to pass on a mysterious illness that killed his father and his older brother. The family illness was actually caused by a poisoning that was arranged by his cousin, but not the slimy male cousin that stands to inherit. The seemingly docile female cousin was the one to arrange it after all. Defying the Earl by Erica Ridley is book four of the Lords in Love series. We have a seriously grumpy, nearly reclusive Earl who meets a sunshiny ward, but there's a reason for his underlying grumpiness. As a young teenager, he was in a carriage accident that killed his family, and he was the only survivor. But he feels horribly guilty because he caused the accident by causing a distraction for his father while driving over a bridge. Surrendering to the Duke by Stevie Sparks is book one of the Lords of Desire series. This one is a brother's widow romance, but the late Duke was not able to offer his wife love for some unknown reason, even if he was willing to offer marriage and protection. Turns out the late Duke was actually in love with the baker's granddaughter and obviously couldn't marry her because of the differences in social station, but he did have a child with her. And the poor child was orphaned when her mother died in childbirth, still lives in town, and is one of the orphans that our widow cares for at her school. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.